So generally speaking, there are three critical moments that I use or stick to my TEE machine, and that is pre-incision, as we're coming off bypass, and immediately after bypass, specifically when I am administering protamine, and then lastly, when the chest is closed. Pre-incision, it is very important to get a global impression of how the heart is doing. You want to appreciate how well or unwell the right ventricle is squeezing. You want to look specifically at your left ventricle as well, whether or not there are any wall motion abnormalities. And then last but not least, look at the valves, make sure that there isn't anything that would keep me from coming off bypass. Is there significant tricuspid regurgitation, mitral regurgitation? And then I quickly look if there is any significant pleural effusion or dissection. As we're coming off bypass, it's very important to have your hand on the TE probe or park the TE probe in a spot where you can see global function, meaning your RV and your LV. In other words, a mid-esophageal 5-chamber or 4-chamber view where you can see if the RV is dilating or if the LV is not performing well. You also want to know how the septum looks. And so I park the TE probe in that view typically, and then explain if I need another view of the heart. And essentially I'm looking at how the heart is responding as you're coming off bypass. And once you're off bypass and you initiate protamine, slowly administered, you want to see how that RV is responding. Last but not least, when the chest is closed or the sternum is approximated with the wires, you want to look at the heart. Particularly, you're concerned with how the RV is keeping up. You also want to note what your CVP is. You want to know if the CVP acutely increases and if the RV begins to balloon, because now you're closing the chest and you're increasing that thoracic pressure, that increasing that RV afterload. And then again, you want to make sure that the LV didn't take a hit from approximating the sternum, and that your wall function is normal. And this is all integrated. You want to look, as I mentioned, your CVP, but also your EKG, and see if there are any changes there.